Good afternoon, HED634 students. Welcome to week 2. I had such a great time getting to know you last week. Lots of great introduction posts, lots of great texture for me to sort of understand where you're coming from and the lens that you're looking through for this course. So thank you very much for that. So as we slide into week 2, we have a couple of things on our plates. We have a traditional discussion that is individually generated where we will discuss quality. So that's our first foray into that subject formally. And so you have a very specific prompt for your original post due on Wednesday night, and then you have some very specific prompts for your responses that are due Sunday night. So that's our first order of business. Make sure that you've done all of your reading prior to that and that you are using all of that work as well as additional outside scholarly and peer-reviewed evidence to help support your positions in those discussions as well. And obviously that you are practicing good APA along the way. We also have a written assignment due this week on Sunday evening, and it is the first 2 parts of your final project. So the cool thing about this course is we've set up what we like to call a culminating project. And so essentially in many of the weeks in this course, you will be submitting portions of that final project to me, and my job is to give you good feedback, good constructive actionable feedback that you can then incorporate into your final project. So if all goes well, you should have an A for your final project if you're submitting along the way and then you're incorporating the feedback as you go. So that's really my expectation here. I'm going to provide you as much feedback as possible, and I'll just ask that you incorporate that into your final product. So that's really what's on tap for this week. I do want to mention just a couple of other small items, or maybe not so small as the case may be. There seems to be some questions and potentially some confusion around the institutional study, or the ISS. So let me just give you some context here. An institutional study is just a sort of broad view of an organization, and this particular setting is higher education institutions and universities. So what we're asking you to do is look at several facets of a university, and when you're doing that, it's intended to ferret out problems of interest to you that will then be the subject of your doctoral capstone or your dissertation. So the ISS really allows you to investigate a university and allows you to uncover a problem that you then study. So I have intentionally said university and higher education a few times in what I just said because you are in a higher ed leadership program, which means that your research, that your doctoral capstone and your dissertation or your dissertation must be focused on higher education. That's not to say that every K through 12 topic is out of bounds, but you would need to pivot a K through 12 problem to its applicability to higher education. And sometimes there are very clever ways to do that. There are some topics that are a little more difficult. So if you feel that you're in that K through 12 space and you're interested in studying something there, it might be a good idea for us to touch base so that we can talk about how you could pivot your problem to apply to a higher education setting, which is what this program is intended to study. So that's really what the institutional study is. In this particular course, you're going to do 2 sections of that institutional study. And so very similar to sort of how we have this course designed, many of your courses are designed to do pieces of your doctoral capstone. So theoretically, by the end of your coursework, you should be well positioned to being completed in your doctoral journey. So that's really our intention of the program. I don't always mention this in my teaching bio because it sometimes scares students, but I am one of 2 associate deans in the College of Professional Studies where your program exists. So I do have a lot of insider info, and I'm happy to talk to you and provide any context that you might need about your program. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful week. Please do reach out to me if you need anything at all, and I'll look forward to reading and grading all of your work from last week. I suspect I will be done with that by Thursday, and I will email you when I'm done with that. So have a great week. Talk to you soon.